An hour later, François entered the manor of Montmorency. He had left his young bride, still in tears, in the care of the old nurse who had long been the confidant of their love. Holding Jeanne close before they parted, he had promised to return at daybreak, as soon as he had greeted his father, whose arrival had been announced by a messenger riding ahead. When François entered the hall of arms, he found the constable Anne de Montmorency seated in a magnificent chair raised 3 steps above the floor. 50 captains stood motionless around him, waiting in silence. François had not seen his father for 2 years. He advanced to the foot of the dais. Beside it stood Henri, who had arrived a quarter of an hour earlier. He was pale and trembling. What thoughts were passing through the mind of that 20-year-old young man? François de Montmorency did not notice the murderous look in his brother's eyes. He bowed deeply before the head of his house. The constable looked over his eldest son's broad shoulders and powerful frame and permitted himself a smile. That was the whole of his paternal welcome. Then, without moving, he began to speak in a voice both calm and terrible. "Listen to me. You all know of the disaster suffered by Emperor Charles V beneath the walls of Metz last December. Cold and disease destroyed, within a matter of days, his great army of 60,000 men-at-arms and German mercenaries. We thought then that the empire itself was finished. The Spaniard shattered, the Huguenot crushed by my hand in the southern provinces, peace seemed assured. And all this spring His Majesty Henri II has passed his time in feasts, dances and tournaments. The awakening has been a bitter one." The constable lowered his voice. "Yes, the elements, which sometimes take it upon themselves to teach conquerors terrible lessons, dealt Charles V a memorable defeat. Yes, the emperor wept when he abandoned his camp, leaving behind 20,000 dead, 15,000 sick, and 80 pieces of artillery. Yet now he raises his head again." He paused, and every man in the hall listened. "Yesterday, at 3 in the afternoon, the first reports reached us. Emperor Charles V is preparing to invade Picardy and Artois. That man of iron has rebuilt his great army, and even as I speak, a force of infantry and artillery is marching with all speed upon Therouanne. Hear me well. If Therouanne falls, France lies open to invasion. His Majesty and I have therefore reached a decision. My army is assembling outside Paris and will march in 2 days. Until then, a force of 2,000 cavalry will ride to Therouanne, shut itself within the city, and hold the enemy there to the death." "To the death!" roared the captains. "For such a desperate expedition," the constable continued, "we needed a commander who was young, indomitable, and daring. I have chosen him." His gaze settled upon his eldest son. "François, you are that man."
"Me?"
cried François, and despair rang in his voice. You will save your king, your father, and your country at one stroke. 2,000 horsemen are waiting outside. Put on your armor. You will leave within a quarter of an hour, and you will not stop until you reach Therouanne. There you will conquer or die. Henri, you will remain at the manor and place it in a state of defense." Henri bit his lips until blood came, struggling to suppress a cry of savage joy. "Jeanne is mine," he said. François had gone deathly pale. He took a step forward, scarcely able to breathe.
"What, father? Me? You mean me?"
His eyes were wild. In his mind he saw Jeanne, his wife of barely an hour, abandoned.
"Me?"
he repeated.
"No, it is impossible."
The constable frowned. "To your horse, François de Montmorency! To your horse!"
"Father, listen to me. Give me 2 hours. 1 hour. I ask you only for 1 hour."
Anne de Montmorency rose to his full height. "You question the orders of your king and your commander."
1 hour, father, and afterward I will ride gladly to my death."
"By the thunder of heaven, 1 word more, François de Montmorency. Only 1. And for the honor of the name you bear, I shall arrest you with my own hands." The insult was tremendous. François raised his head. In that instant everything vanished from his mind. Love, wife, every dream of happiness. His voice rang over that of the old warrior.
"Then may heaven strike down any man who has ever dared say that a Montmorency retreats. For the glory of the name, I obey you, father. I shall go. But if I return alive, Monsieur le Connétable, you and I will have a grave account to settle. Farewell."
With hard, measured steps he passed through the ranks of captains, who stared at him in amazement. Never had they witnessed such defiance, a son openly challenging not merely his father, but the all-powerful master of the armies of France. Every face turned toward the constable, expecting the order for François' arrest. Instead, a strange smile softened the old commander's lips. Those nearest him heard him murmur,
"He is a Montmorency."
10 minutes later, François stood in the courtyard, armored, equipped, and ready to mount. He turned to a page. "My brother Henri, go and fetch him."
"I am here, François."
Henri de Montmorency appeared in the torchlight. François seized his hand without noticing that it burned with fever.
"Henri," he said, "are you truly a brother to me? What gives you the right to doubt it?"
"Forgive me, I am suffering so badly that I hardly know what I say. You will understand in a moment. I am leaving Henri, perhaps never to return, and behind me I leave a misery greater than I can bear. Listen to me with all your heart, because upon your answer depends the last decision I shall make before I go. You know Jeanne, the daughter of the Seigneur de Piennes."
"I know her,"
Henri answered darkly. "Then hear what has happened. I am leaving, and Jeanne and I love one another." Henri smothered a growl of fury. "Say nothing," François continued. "Hear me to the end. We have loved one another for 6 months. For 3 months we have belonged to one another. And for the past 2 hours she has borne the name of Montmorency, the same as I." A strange sound escaped from Henri's throat. "Do not be astonished," François went on feverishly. "Do not interrupt me. Jeanne herself will tell you tomorrow that the chaplain of Montmorency married us tonight. But there is more. At this very moment she is weeping beside a dead man. The Seigneur de Piennes is dead. He died in the church itself, only a short while ago, after giving me one last look that commanded me to guard the happiness of his child. And there is still more. Montmorency has reverted to the house of the constable. Henri, this is terrible. I leave Jeanne alone in the world, without protection and without means. Do you hear me? Do you understand?"
"I hear you. I understand."
"Then listen carefully, brother. Will you accept the trust I am about to place in your hands? Will you swear to watch over the woman I love, the woman who bears my name?" Henri shuddered from head to foot.
"I swear it."
"If war spares me, I must return to find my wife beneath my father's roof, safe from every hardship because you were there to protect and defend her. Do you swear it?"
"I swear it."
"If I fall, you will reveal this secret to the constable and make him respect the last wishes of his dead son. My share of the inheritance must secure my widow against poverty forever and give her the honored position that is hers by right. Do you swear it?"
"For the 3rd time, I swear it."
François drew him into his arms. "You have sworn. Remember it." Then he mounted and rode to the head of the 2,000 cavalrymen assembled on the esplanade. At once he raised his arm, and with a ringing cry so fierce and desperate that the old constable must have heard it from the depths of his manor, he shouted, "Forward, to the death!"